Hello everybody. Today we'll be discussing physiology of pain part 2. If you just recall, in the first lecture regarding physiology of pain, we have learned what is pain, what are the receptors for the pain. Receptor is basically free nerve endings, how they get stimulated, different mechanisms of stimulation like mechanical, thermal and chemical. Chemical we have learned in detail because that is the main mechanism. Through that there is initiation of receptor potential. Then we have seen the pathway of pain sensation, that is our ventrolateral spinothalamic tract, which has got three order neuron. First order neuron ends in the spinal cord, it synapses with sensory neuron, which starts in the spinal cord, crosses immediately to opposite side and runs upward in the lateral and anterior column of spinal cord. They make synaptic connection at the thalamus. From here, third order neuron starts and they project to the cortex, to the respective areas from which in the sensory homunculus. Now to continue our discussion, this is the track which we have learned the last time, and we have seen different types of pain in the peripheral mechanism. Stimulation at the somatic structure, it is called as somatic pain. If site of origin is at the viscera, it is called as a visceral pain, which is carried by the autonomic nerves. And third category, that is if it is arising from a piece of the nerve in absence of a receptor, it is called as a projected pain based on law of projection. This is a sensory homunculus which we have learned. It has got whole body representation in respect to the skill of the part of the body which is performing. Part which is having a skillful action like fingers, lips, they are given more representation than the cortex. On the contrary, part which are having a less, they are having a small area, so it is called as a sensory homunculus. Now regarding deep pain, we have learned there is a relative deficiency of A delta fibers in the deep structure, so it is carried by the C fiber which are slowly conducting nerve conduction velocity. And now from here actually what two concepts are there regarding ascending track for the pain. One, the label is as a paleo spinothalamic tract, which is the older one, and this carries the sensation of deep pain from C fiber. It is a slow conducting. This is also called as a chronic pain. And other one which is being innervated by A delta fiber is called as the new spinothalamic tract, which carries the fast pain. It is also called as acute pain. These are only anatomical differences. Functionally, it will be same as they are carrying the impulses from the spinal cord to the thalamus. As the A fibers are fast conducting, they will conduct fast. The pain is more localized, so it is a sharp pain. So deep pain is being carried by the C fiber, poorly localized, nauseating, and as it in the deep structure where we are having a lot of autonomic nerves near the blood vessels. So it is associated with autonomic symptoms like sweating and changes in blood pressure. So that is regarding deep pain. Now today we will be stressing more on this part, that is a visceral pain, which is a unique entity and that is different to diagnose location. That's why we should understand in detail, because it has a very unique feature called as a referred pain. So just to recall back innervation of this visceral pain, it is arising from the viscera, right from the intestine, liver, heart, lungs, which are innervated by autonomic nerves. So same, but it will make synaptic connection at the spinal cord. Same spinothalamic tract is going to carry the sensation up to the sensory cortex. This is a very, very key diagram, that is autonomic innervation of the visceral organ. So symptoms of visceral pain, apart from the pain, whatever symptoms are, that they will depends on the area, the innervation of the respective organ and dominance of the autonomic innervation, whether it is sympathetic dominates or parasympathetic dominates. Based on that, we'll have a symptoms. If sympathetic dominates, we may have a rise in blood pressure, we may have an increase in heart rate. But if parasympathetic dominates, we may have a fall in blood pressure, maybe decrease in heart rate. We'll have a more GRT symptoms like loose motions will be there. So you must understand physiology of the autonomic innervation of the visceral organs to understand the visceral pain and its associated symptoms. So this, in this diagram, if you see the blue lines which I have shown, these are the parasympathetic nerves, and red lines which I am showing on the left side here, these are all sympathetic nerves. So these are sympathetic, these are the parasympathetic nerves. So you must go in detail of this to understand what will be the associated autonomic symptoms along with the visceral pain. Now visceral pain, unique feature is poorly localized and unpleasant it is. Poor localization simply because it has got a poor presentation in the sensory homunculus, because these are the deeper structure, as less skill action, less presentation. Based on that, presentation is less, localization is poor. Afferent fibers is why autonomic nerves associated with autonomic symptoms, but again I'm repeating, if the part of the body is having dominant of parasympathetic nerve, we will have a more parasympathetic symptom, and if that visceral organ is having more sympathetic innervation, so that symptom will be dominant one. Very unique, that is referred to other areas. And receptor here are sensitive to distension of this organ. Means even if you touch visceral organ, if you cut intestine, you are not going to get a pain, but pain will be only after distension of the intestinal organ. So their way of stimulation is distension, not touch or any mechanical disturbances. Now the referred pain, it is basically caused by irritation of a visceral organ, pain that is felt not at the site, pain in the somatic structure, considerable distance away from the site of origin. Now why this happens, a question should come in the mind, why it is referred to other organs when origin is in some. Now some theories have been proposed. Currently we are having two theories which suits in this. Maybe in the future bright scientists from your batch may bring with some new theories, we can understand it better way, because still many questions are unanswered in case of visceral pain and referred pain. The first theory is basically a dermatomal rule. Now for this you have to go back to the knowledge of embryology. Embryologically, many parts of the body are developing at some sites, but as the baby develops and comes to the birth, many organs descends and changes their location and comes to the original position in the anatomical site. For example, our heart is there. Heart usually in the embryonic life is near the neck region. So at the neck region, heart, the diaphragm, upper limb, all structures are there. So in the embryonic life, they are receiving innervations from the same dermatome. So the structure that develop from the same embryonic segment or dermatome, they are going to carry the same innervation in the infants also. That is why the pain of the heart is also felt in inner aspect of left arm, because embryologically the heart is carrying the same innervation as the inner aspect of the left arm. Similarly, the testes are developing in the abdomen near the kidneys, but as the baby advances in the embryonic life, just before birth they descend down to the original anatomical position. So that's why pain in the testicle due to distension of ureter also, means whenever the ureter is there is some urinary stone is there in ureter, you may have the pain in the testicle also, because both innervations are common. So there is the one theory which explains why pain arising from a visceral organ is going to some somatic structure which is a distance away, means ureters are in the abdomen but pain will be felt in the testes. So these are the different locations. This is location for the heart, basically the pain of the heart origin from here. It may go in the shoulder, it may go in the elbow, it may go up to this also. So like this radiation can be there. Simply many times pain starts here also only, you don't get pain in the heart. So you should have a good knowledge of referred pain to understand the visceral pain. So you should be able to differentiate whether this is arising genuinely from this finger or it is arising from the heart. So you should have a very good knowledge of innervation of embryonic life. Similarly, pain from the esophagus is having radiation to the shoulder. So these are the different locations we have shown in the book. You can get what are the locations of this. So by understanding the innervation, you can understand the referred pain. So that is the first theory, that is a dermatomal rule. And the second theory is convergence theory. For this again you have to learn regarding this our ascending tract. So this is the visceral organ. From here it is going to the spinal cord, same making synaptic connection at the dorsal horn. Second order neuron arising and going opposite side up to the thalamus. From here our further it will go to the sensory homunculus. Now but this segment of dermatome, for example, suppose it is a T10. So T10 is having innervation from appendix, but it will also innervate some part of the skin on the surface also. Now because of this, see what happens. The part of the skin will be performing some skilled action, better action, more important action as compared to the intestine. So this part will have a better presentation there in the cortex. So due to this, see what happens. Whenever there is origin of pain arising from the viscera, it will go to the spinal cord. From spinal cord, it will ascend up to the thalamus. From third order neuron, it will go to the sensory cortex. But see what happens, cortex will get confused whether this is arising from this or this, because both segments are T10. So what happens, see now cortex will feel like this, it will indicate part of the skin because it is having a better presentation in the cortex. So what happens at the T10 segment, even if this is arising from the appendix, person will get pain at the site of the T10 on the surface. So this is called as the theory of convergence. At same site viscera is converging, same site somatic structure is converging, but being somatic part of the body having a better presentation there in the cortex, so cortex will feel as if the pain is arising from this structure. So that's why even if pain is arising from here, person will get pain in this area. That's why commonly for the appendix there is a McBurney's point on the skin in the abdomen, which is a distance away from the site of appendix actually. So this is the second theory of referred pain. This is called as a convergence projection theory. Convergence of somatic and visceral pain fibers on same second order neuron. So these two theories are at present currently, which explains the referred pain. First is a dermatomal rule, second is a convergence projection theory. So here we are completing different types of pain. Somatic pain arising from a somatic structure, visceral pain arising from the viscera, projected pain in absence of the receptor, still we are getting a pain. And in somatic pain, first is the superficial pain, fast pain, also called as acute pain, also some authors have labeled as a physiological pain. Means it can be whether the moment you remove the stimulus, pain is relieved. Other is a deep pain, slow pain, also called as a chronic pain, or some say it is a bad pain or pathological pain. So these are the different types of pain. So to summarize, we have learned what is a pain, pain receptors, stimulation of the receptors and types of pain in an initial lecture. Today we have learned referred pain. Now still two very important topics are remaining. Pain control mechanism. Means how the body is controlling this on its own, and what is central nervous system. Now these two we'll be learning in the third lecture of pain. I will be explaining you in detail how the body has got its own defense to control the pain and how there is a central analgesic system. Now message for you today is be happy at the home. Happy means first healthy. stay home, stay healthy. Attitude, keep your right attitude of learning. Be perfect. If you acquire good knowledge, you will be perfect in your performance. Be pleasant. Being a pleasant patient will be feel very happy. Very important, be yielding, means ready to change your attitude, ready to accept our mistakes. Thank you. So here we are finishing the second lecture of pain. In the third lecture we'll be discussing regarding pain control mechanisms and central analgesic system.